tigers go. They're not super long, but
they are aggressive. That's how you
rod for the second time today.
Oh yeah. I found a determined to break that puppy.
That's nice.
Okay, let's go.
In the brand new rig. Right there, guys. That's why we use the Musky Buddy. It's got the net locked in, the fish is in the bag, everything's all good. You don't have to worry about it. It's one more thing that gives you peace of mind, right, Dave?
Gear of the year right there. That's my vote. That thing has been life-altering, and it's fantastic, especially in the fall and filming. We got a lot of stuff going on. It's nice to not have to worry about that.
All right, so clearly I don't understand how a countdown works. It's supposed to go from 5 down to 1, but in this case, there was just no denying what was going to be number 1 on this list. I don't think it's going to come as any surprise to anyone that the Musky Buddy from the Net Buddy was at number 1. So we're going to start there, and I think we're actually going to work backwards on this list, and we'll kind of end at 5 because the 3 things that go from number 3 down to 5 are all kind of, you know, connected, so that'll work really good doing it that way. But let's head out to the man cave and I'll show you guys how I had the Musky Buddy set up and the net we were using, and just kind of run you guys through it. Hey guys, welcome back to the cave. And like I was saying inside, the Musky Buddy was the number 1 piece of gear for us this year. And I reached out to Matt, the owner of Net Buddy, and asked him, what was the idea behind such a product?
Hey guys, it's Matt with Net Buddy. Just want to take an opportunity to say thank you to Glenn and the 54 bus team. It's been a ton of fun getting to watch you guys use the Musky Buddy across your 2023 season, as well as some of the work you've done with my prototype net that we're hoping to have come out in 2024. The Musky Buddy was a concept that I came up with about 3 seasons ago. I was fishing on Lake Minnetonka with my brother, who put a pretty big muskie into the net. While I was holding the net boat side, he was getting his release tools ready. I just said to him, it'd be really nice to have something here to hold this net in place so I can get the camera ready, and we just reduce the amount of time that we have these fish boat side. I went to work that night with some 3D printed models. A couple weeks later, we had the aluminum prototype. And we just made tweaks to get it right for you guys over the course of about 2 seasons to where we released it late last fall. 2023 has been awesome. I'm confident to say we've put thousands of muskies into the Musky Buddy across North America. And in 2024, I'm excited to see what everybody does with them. Please continue to tag me in your photos, share videos, and Glenn, when I'm up in your area next summer in Sunset Country, I hope that we can put a few muskies in the net together.
But it came onto our radar late last season, so that'd be the season of 2022. I reached out to Matt because I was like, anything that's going to hold the net, hold the fish, so we're hands-free trying to do the filming and all the other stuff that we do around it. I was like, that just seems like a win. My concern was when you have this on the net, now you can't retract the handle. And we talked to Matt, can you incorporate that puck into a yoke? And he did, and we were able to, you'll hear him on his video, help him out with some testing on a new net, and hopefully by show season, probably by the time the Minnesota show in 2024 comes around, he's hoping to have some available to you guys for the public. But I just want to say that it worked absolutely flawless. The only issue I had one time on one fish is that the fish got caught on the outside of the net and I had to roll the net right around to get the fish in the bag. And now that puck's facing the top. So we've actually thought about putting a puck on the top and the bottom of the yoke so that it doesn't matter which way you slide it in. But that being said, for us, it was just, it's one of those pieces of gear that after you have it, you're like, how did this not get designed in the musky industry sooner? So for us, far and away, like, it just basically leaves the rest of the pack behind on gear of the year for this year. And it's the Musky Buddy by the Net Buddy. I just want to thank Matt for, putting some trust in us this year. And hopefully going into next year, there's going to be so many more people using it and loving it as much as we did. All right, coming in at number 2 on Gear of the Year. When we got into the Garmin Live Scope, we needed a way to mount it in the boat. We needed a good pole, a good mounting system for the pole. But I wanted to be able to use it in the summer. I wanted to be able to use it between different boats. And I wanted to be able to just use it right like that into the winter. And the only way to do that is with a shuttle. There's a bunch on the market, but you do any kind of research, and ArcLab from Manitoba, from Winnipeg, Manitoba, always comes up as one of the best. So I reached out to Ian. He helped set me up with their shuttle. Everything's mounted right on there. So in the summer, I run that shuttle in my boat. I power it off my boat's batteries, and then for the winter, I basically just pop a lithium battery in a side here. And now this is completely portable. I can take it with me wherever I want to go. And the beauty of that is that I've shown you guys the video. I'm going to play it here again for you guys, how easy it works in the boat. And with their quick link mounting plate that uses the Skidoo ratchet style link connectors, you can set it in the mounting plate, lock it in, and then it's there for the day. Open it up, take it with me. I can take it to Dave's boat. I can take it to my little boat. And then taking it one step further, I have their mounting plate mounted on the Larmac 360, which is a 360-degree swivel base that slides into a 3-inch Cisco style track. And it just makes it so portable and so convenient. I can have my live scope set up, turn it any which way I want. I can face, excuse me, I can have it so it's set up to face the front for guests, facing the back for me. It just works so well. And it was one of those things that when you get into the forward-facing sonar, you want to maximize your buck spending on that. So you get a shuttle like this, and now you can use it basically 4 seasons if you want. And it just makes it so easy. So if you guys are into the forward-facing sonar, the live scope, definitely check out ArcLab Industries in Winnipeg, Manitoba. So coming in at number 3 on Gear of the Year for us is probably the most unsexy thing you're ever going to see on a Gear of the Year, year-end wrap-up. But it is the 9-inch, 240-pound solid wire leader from Stealth Tackle. And I talked to John about it. And these ones have the solid welded ring on it. So you can put a stay-lock snap on here if you want. You can just attach with a split ring to your lures, which we like to do a lot. I'm moving that way more and more with all our stuff. But I didn't have a single failure of a leader, which you rarely do in today's world. Let's face it, all the manufacturers build quality products. But why this stood out for us is that I used 2 leaders all year. And I normally change, as soon as I get a kink in it or a bend, I just change them out because we're fortunate we do have a lot. But this year with these solid wire leaders, and that's basically what I used all year. I used a little bit of the flexible 49 strand, but in most cases, because we're using a lot of rubber this year, I just went with the solid wire. And if it got a bend in it, I just run my fingers down, straighten it out. And where it really won me over was in the second half of the year. Dave and I were out and I was jigging a Bondy, hooked the fish on, just the regular Bondy. We got it up and that leader was just mangled. And in the video, I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to change that for the next trip out. The next trip out wasn't exactly the next trip, but the next couple out, we got out. And because we had been doing some trolling and stuff, I hadn't touched that casting rod. Well, we had got those quad dogs in the mail, and I want to try out the quad dogs. So I just grabbed that rod. I looked at the leader, give it a little tweak. And like 20 casts later, I got a mid-40s fish on the quad dog on a bent-up leader that, in all likelihood, I should have changed. It's a fail point when it's twisted like that, but proves the fact that John makes a quality product. I think anybody will tell you that his are like absolutely some of the best in the industry. All right, so number 4 on the list is something that we got new this year, and it's the 80-pound Barbarian Braid Gold fishing line. Something that we found with the original line in the 90-pound is that it felt thick, and that was kind of a common complaint or a common observation from a lot of people, is that the line just felt really thick in the hands, and I think that they solved that with the 80-pound. And probably the easiest way for me to explain it is that I put it on my main rod, the one that I use for all the rubber and stuff all year, and probably 90% of all the casting that I did. And I never rotated the line, like I never flipped it end to end. I never re-spooled. I did cut off the end a couple times, just after a couple catches, your line might get frayed down near the leader. So I always cut a few feet off and I retie, but I never had a failure. It never really carried any water, even into the fall, and it never felt thick on the reel, which is what the 90-pound felt like to me after a while. And we still use the 90-pound on some of our bigger reels, but on my 350 size reel, the 80 was just amazing. And one of the things that I think kind of proves that any line is good, and there's tons of great quality line out now, is that when you're ripping rubber and you get those hard hook sets and they really stop you dead, it's a lot like sucker rigging. It's hard hook sets. And when line like this can hold up to that, I mean, that's all you can really expect out of fishing line in today's world. And we're a firm believer in, you get what you pay for. And I think Barbarian Braid 80 is well worth it. And for us, it's something that we're going to be putting on more and more reels next year. So definitely check out Barbarian Braid. And we love the 80-pound gold. And that's number 4 on our Gear of the Year for 2023. So coming in at number 5 on Gear of the Year, kind of twofold. Something I talked about last year that I had to bring up again. And then something brand new this year. And they're reels made by Okuma. This is the new 371, so it's a 350 size reel in 7.1 to 1. And like I just said about the Barbarian Braid, this is the original line that I put on this area. You can see it's frayed here where my knot is, and I would cut a few feet off there and go. But I use this reel for probably a solid 90% of all my casting this year. Zero problems with it. I do try to do a little bit of maintenance throughout the year, at least, a little bit of grease and oil in the bearings, but not a lot. I mean, I'm not, really into that kind of stuff, but had zero problems with it. I love the Okuma reel. In full disclosure, yeah, we are sponsored by Okuma and we get some product from them. We buy some product from them. But before we had that deal, Dave and I were buying Okuma reels. So that goes to show that we put some trust in that product as well. So I just wanted to kind of give a shout out to the 371 because it's a little bit higher gear ratio, which the more musky fishing I do, the more I find that I'm leaning towards a faster reel. I can always reel slower, but with a slow speed reel that a lot of guys like to use for bucktails, it's so hard to burn stuff. And when you're trying to use one rod for multiple applications, having a bucktail rod, it's really hard to use that setup for rubber or for Suicks or dive and rise or walk the dog topwater. And with this, I can actually do, like I say, 90% of my fishing with this setup. So that's why going to a reel like that for us and for our style of fishing really works good. And again, this was brand new this year. I got a whole year out of it with no issues. And I know for weekend anglers, you're going to expect 2-3 years out of a reel, maybe more. But for us, when we're fishing real hard, we're probably only looking at 1 or 2 full seasons before you need some type of, maintenance or repairs on these. So far, this has been flawless. So, I can't really say enough about it. And I'll just add that there's the leader that I mentioned earlier from Stealth. It still has some bends in it. And I would probably still go out and fish that. So that's just a little bit of an aside there on the Stealth tackle. Last year, I talked about the Cold Water Series reels from Okuma. I believe this is our first only 2-time, recipient of Gear of the Year. But we did a lot of trolling this year. You guys seen a lot of those videos, and we've put these reels through so much. And again, you look at any forums or musky talk online about trolling, and a lot of guys mention these cold water reels. Price point's really good on them. They're pretty tough. We've never had an issue. This is my original one that I bought years and years and years ago. Dave still has his. and we've had no issues with them. I've done zero maintenance, and they just continue to work. And this is kind of my workhorse trolling setup. I use it for suckers and trolling, and these reels are just bulletproof. If it was to fail on me now, I would be okay with it, because you don't have a ton into these, and they're very durable. So from the standpoint of a weekend angler looking for something, you know, that's the type of stuff that we want to recommend, because we know that if you're spending your hard-earned money on it, you want to get multiple years of use out of it. And we've got multiple years of use out of this cold water, and we've added a few more. I got a couple more on the shelf here that we've added, and I haven't had to retire this one yet. So that's probably, you know, the best testament to how well these are. It's fun looking back at old videos where we, you know, talk about different styles of gear, and then you wonder what's going to make gear of the year, you know, in the next year. I'm not sure what's going to be the thing next year that really takes over and kind of, you know, rises to the top. Will there be another Musky Buddy? I mean, that's debatable. I know we got a few things on the horizon that we will be trying in 2024 that we're really looking forward to. But check out the video right here where we looked at the best gear last year. And if you don't want to check out the gear, check out the video right here where we looked at some of the best accessories for musky fishing. That'll give you two options to check out if you like this type of stuff. And until next time, 54 Bus is out of here. We'll catch you guys out on the water later.